Alright, so I promised that I would do a through the lens view of the game. Unfortunately, I'm having some difficulties getting the view of everything just right because I can't see. On my desktop, it's ridiculously small and squished because it's taking my nice wide view and squishing it, and then I'm using my GoPro up against the lens, but because I can only view a preview through my cell phone, I can't tell how focused it is or not, so this might be regrettably pretty garbage. And unfortunately, I can't even see properly where Dallas is. This looks like Dallas Fort Worth. International Love, so this one must be Addison, I think. Yep, okay. The mouse, everything is all funky. Okay, so we are not going to fly this plane that I can't control. Let's see if I can get to the TBM, just so we don't spend 25 years waiting for something to happen. Okay, let's get out of the airplane and hit fly. Alright, now this is not going to be pretty. You can see what I'm talking about through the lens now, how it blanks out all the time. If you think back to my other videos where I was showing this, on the screen you didn't see anything but the loading, and I'm trying to capture the screen, but I think it's having another one of its fits where it doesn't want to capture through the software thanks to the changes in VR with the game. But basically every time on screen you see a lag out, the image stays on the screen because it's not refreshed off. In the headset though, I get those flashes, and that's what kind of trips my head up. Now I've got this set to wide mode as well. This isn't exactly what I see. I've taken the faceplate off and basically got my GoPro mashed up as close as I can to the lens so that you can see the edges of everything, because I really want to try and capture some of the frame rate lag along the sides of it. I'm not sure how well this is going to translate because I can't easily move the headset and keep the GoPro there because it's glass on glass, and I really don't want to scratch either my GoPro's lens or the goggles here, so we'll see kind of what we get. Okay, so we're in the game. Let's see if my movement options work here. Nope, I need to begin flight. Ooh, this is going to be hard to fly. Alright, so I'm going to do what I can here to try to pan around the desk. My mic's on a different part of my desk from everything else. Let me reorganize a few things here. And unplug my microphone, and I'll move it over here so you should hopefully be able to hear me still. Okay, now I'm going to grab the GoPro and the headset here somehow and try to hold everything as steady as I can so that you can kind of see what it's like in the game when you pick everything up and move it around. You can pan around pretty decently and see a nice view. Okay, so I had to adjust my overhead lighting to try and get some options in the game. Let me see if I can get this lined back up again. So you can see, I hope, where my altitude is. I can lean around the cockpit. Oops. Get a good view of everything that's going on. I can easily come out of the cockpit, go back in. You can see the stuttering. There, I think I captured it. If I move really fast in panning, you see how the edges of the frame drag? If you look at the left side of the frame right there, as I pan my head at a reasonable rate, you can see the image distorting as it tries to render in those frames. That never happened. That's the actual frame rate going on within the game. That never, ever happened previously. Alright, now I just reset the cockpit view here so I can have a slightly better angle at what I'm doing. So let me pull in there to the controls, pull up, you can see the view, pull back on the cockpit, look over, look down. All that is nice and dandy. You can see how I'm not even panning that fast, and I can get the edges to kind of screw up on it. So let me put the headset down. Get my cockpit reset. Alright, now let me get airborne. There's no easy way for me to configure autopilot in this, so I'm going to have to do the best that I can once we're maybe airborne. I don't know if I'm actually capturing my desktop, unfortunately. I will pan the camera around here in a second so you can see how squished it is. I could have reset it, but honestly, I don't want to have to go through the headache of resetting every little facet of the game just so I can try to capture video or play, or not play, however the case may go, every single time. So let's get airborne here. Get the gear up. I don't quite know what my speed's at. Reset that cockpit view here. Okay, let's throttle down a bit. We are angled way high on that. Let's continue to throttle down. Alright, let's try to get these trims leveled out enough so that the plane won't go completely haywire while I try to look around. Unfortunately, it seems that the wind is panning my airplane a little bit, and now we're nosing down. One trim level up. Alright, so now while I have a moment, let's take a look outside, see if I can capture some of those issues. Okay, so I'm looking out the side of the plane. Okay, we've got that all reset. Let the white balance recapture. Okay, I don't have an easy way to turn my head. You can see some of the stutters in the headset now. I'm barely turning my head and you can see all those frame rates, the jitter, the way it looks. See all that stutter? That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying I'm getting 1 to 2 FPS. Let me turn my head over here. Somehow we're still flying. Okay, so there's the side of the airplane. See the edges? It's not like a vignette. You can see it actually stuttering on the rendering. And as I move the head, you can see what I mean. The world is rendering separately. You see all these lag outs? The settings in the game are now pretty low compared to what they were previously. And previously it was really flyable, playable, enjoyable, but this is nuts. So hopefully it's capturing this in decent focus. I'm sorry about some of the distortion. I'm trying to hold the GoPro manually up to the headset so that you can kind of see everything that's going on as the plane tries to turn and do stuff. Let's see if I can turn it the other way. It's very cumbersome with all the cables here. I'll look back out this way. Okay. So I'm glad that I can see through the garbage image on my cell phone off the GoPro, that you can see how stuttery and laggy this is. versus what I was showing through the desktop, which you could still see some of the issues, but it's a totally different world when you're actually in this immersive headset and your vision is completely screwed up. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of that for a second. So, while not the best, holding my little GoPro, basically, it's hard for you to see it here, but like this, up against the lenses was how I was doing that. Not the best method, but hopefully you're able to see kind of what I've been talking about with, especially this last patch, how jacked up VR has become in the way that they changed whatever they changed in the way they're handling it. Because those micro stutters, it's terrible. When you turn your head, seeing a chunk of the frame cutting off is terrible. Now through the GoPro, that's a wide angle lens so that you can capture everything down the lens tunnel up to the screen that's projecting the image. When you're looking at it, it's on the edges of your peripheral frame, provided you have the IPD set up right. So you're seeing it, and it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like this, where I can't see 100% of my field of view, but I can see a fairly large chunk of it. And when that much, an inch or so of your vision every time you turn is da-da-da-da-da-da, it's choppy. And then as you move your head around, seeing the cockpit stutter around. Now, you're only seeing it through one lens. If I was doing it stereographically, the way it's displayed between the two eyes and the image is merged in my head, it would be even worse because you have two eyes not necessarily seeing the same stutter. And when you're trying to superimpose the cockpit on top of the world to create the three-dimensional effect, ooh, it gets even worse. So I don't get nauseous, but I get eye fatigue because my eyes are trying to focus on different things. That's why looking at a 3D movie, I hate that tech because my eyes don't buy the trick. They try to focus on the different images, and I just can't. Everything's blurry and my head just gets really tired, sore, and my eyes just get exhausted. So unfortunately, that's the way it is right now. I look forward to Microsoft hopefully rolling back whatever they did in the next patch that messed it up so that I can play again, because it is so fun. Even when it's not 100% great on the FPS, every time I flew it outside of the LAX video, it was monumentally better than that. That was just garbage and horrible. And I won't play it again. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the headache or the hassle or the problems. So anyway, thank you for watching. We'll see what happens in the next batch.